Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fishman log number 180, and I think it's high time that I finish off these filters. This is a design I came up with a little while ago, and I wanted to test it out, and of course, life gets in the way, things have to be done, and it got shelved for a little bit, and now it's time to finish it up and get them in the aquariums and test out to see if they're actually going to do what I want them to do. This part here is my standard box filter. This is a design I came up with quite some time ago now. And I have had no issues with it. I really like how they work, and I've even put them out into a couple of commercial setups, and they work really well even under those conditions, which is says an awful lot. The variation here is, now in my fish room I have a number of filter styles, box filters, undergrowth filters, sponge filters, all going up to my high humidity planters, and I really do like them. The high humidity planters work really well. My issue with them is long term. After about 3 years-ish, they need to be taken apart and cleaned, and they are a bit, well, they're bulky. They sit on top of the rim of the aquarium, and which gives them a lot of support. And, well, like I said, I don't have, well, sometimes just the ambition to take them apart and clean them as often as they should be. But every 2-3 years it should be done. And some of them are going even longer than that now, and I really do need to get to that. This design here is going to have a slight variation on that. So what's going to happen, instead of them sitting on the rim of the aquarium where it is difficult to get them out because of the frames for the stands and the lights and everything else, these are going to sit on top of the box filter itself. So it'll just lift straight up. I think that's going to be an interesting variation. One other thing that's going to be done a little bit differently as well is they're going to be a little bit more immersed. There's going to be more water in them, so I'm going to have more aquatic plants in there. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to work that part yet. I don't think it's really the most important part of this. The thing is, it's going to be a little bit smaller in area, because these filters have a smaller footprint than the high humidity planters that I have currently. But like I said, these are things I want to test out, which reminds me of something that I meant to mention a little earlier. I do want to get back into doing more filter designs. I started off a very long time ago now doing a whole pile of them, all sorts of different things, different styles of airlifts and everything else. And I still have quite a few ideas that I haven't finished off yet, and I think this time I said to get back to doing a little bit more of that. So that's also something else that will be coming up. One of the designs I'm thinking about is I want to... This is part of it. This is something that's going to play into it as well. I want to have a air-driven system that doesn't necessarily require having a lid on the aquarium, because if you have lots of bubbles, you get splashing and you end up with a lot of evaporation, extra moisture in the room, and well, just splashing in general, which can be a nuisance as far as water stains and possibly getting on the lights and all that sort of stuff. So I want to come up with a design that's going to eliminate that. So just a box filter, which like this design here, and a way of mitigating all that splashing. These do that. You're going to see as this is finished up and running. I'm going to do that today for you. That it does that. It does prevent that from happening. But I want something a little less bulky, something that doesn't require having all that extra stuff there, something simple. And I have a couple ideas for that. So that is one design I have coming up. So these here are the side brackets that's just going to keep the lids in place. This is the top one. Doesn't have to be snug. It just has to keep it from bouncing and sliding off, and keep it where it needs to be, just in case I have to move it around a little bit. So these are just little brackets. This is 1/8 inch acrylic, and I'm just going to tack weld them here. Hold everything square, let that set for a few seconds, and then I'll do the full bead and then set it on top. So these are, like I said, this is going to be a style of filter that, let's just say, for some reason, the smaller high humidity planter is not efficient enough. These box filters are still the exact design I want, so it won't be that much of a waste of materials, which is kind of important, because there's only so much acrylic that I can afford to build things with, and throwing away a bunch like this is just something I would like to avoid. So there you go. I'm going to tack these on. I'm going to test fit them to make sure it's all right. And then what I'm going to do is this is going to go in the oldest rack system I have. I put together, I'm going to have to look back at my videos for this one. It's been a few years now. I built a one tool box filter. It has no acrylic tubing. It has just all straight cuts on the table saw, and I mean, it worked fine. It's in one of my aquariums. It's augmenting a underground filter to a high humidity planter, and it's just there to test out. And I haven't really cared for how it works. It's not as efficient. So what I'm going to do is, as part of the test for this, is I'm going to initially take all the material, media out of that one. I'm going to put it into this, and I'm just going to see, in a week or two, to see how much of a difference I see in the aquarium itself. The chemistry is fine. The tank's clean. It doesn't really have much like nitrate or anything. But there's something about it. I really can't put my finger on it, but it is not quite up to what I like. It's not as clear and clean as I want. And the other one I want to do is my Coridora tank. It's always been a little bit cloudy, and I would like to see if this is going to improve that. And these are a couple of small tests, and of course the other two are going to go into other aquariums, just simply because I need to get rid of some old designs and get those tanks up and running, because I want to breed a few more fish. So this is, as you saw, just a little tack weld on there, because these are the lids for the filter, so these have to hold down much more snugly, and I want to run a bead on it just a little bit, and then fit it into place, because when it's just got the little tack welds and it's just been done, it is movable. It will slide over, and then I can make it just snug enough so it fits on there, and you can see here in a second it pops down, and there you go, it holds in place, and this fits on top. So there you go, this is the build. I'm going to do the rest of them off camera, and what we're going to do here is show you what it looks like first. I mean, it is a large filter, but it's all vertical, which is nice. It's not going to take up much of a footprint in the aquarium, which I like, and like I said, it's going to hopefully do all the things that I said I want it to do, and we shall see if it does that. So this is the old box filter I made. This is the one tool cut I did, and I said I'm going to keep the filter. I'm going to keep it as a spare. I'm going to put new media in it, stick it in an aquarium, and then every now and then I might have use for it. We'll see. But as is, for the moment, it's just going to come out. So first I'm going to take all the hornwood out. You remember, like last week, I pruned all this back. Well, it is really hard to tell. Oh, and by the way, my war on duckweed is progressing. We'll see. It has fooled me many times. I've gotten it down to the point where I can't find any, and then it just, all of a sudden, oh, there it is again. So I'm going to keep my eye on it, and I'm going to hopefully keep it to the point where eventually I can get rid of it entirely. So there's the hornwort. I'm going to throw that all back in that tank now that I got the filter out, and then I'm going to transfer the media from that box filter into the new one. And as you can see, it's going to have, instead of a sponge, it's going to have a polywool pad, and I kind of like them. I've used them before. These I like as well, but they are more for systems where I don't really care about having much in the way of mechanical filtration. So often I use them. And also the nice thing about the open pore sponge, the coarser ones like that, it rarely needs to be cleaned. I've never really had much of an issue. These are set up like that, like with this media, which is coral, by the way, is really good for guppies, and there's no real mechanical filtration, but it has very, very good biological filtration. So not necessarily in this design, but in the new one it will. So we'll see how it goes. I always try and come up with new ideas and test them out for a long period of time. If I test it for, like say, 2 years and I still like it, then it is the kind of thing that I think is worth making. And this box filter design fits that criteria. And like I said, well, because I keep plugging away. There's so many things that you can do with fish tanks. There are a great many of things people are trying out currently. Some of them I agree with, some of them are just fads that will go away. I do have some ideas for videos regarding some of that sort of stuff. I do intend on getting to it whenever I can find the time. And like I said, there are a number of things that are fine, but there are also things that are a little bit dangerous if you don't know anything, or not. If you don't have enough knowledge, let's just put it that way. So I'm going to shove this thing in here. This obviously got stirred up quite a bit during this process. I'm going to make sure I don't squish any shrimp. And I'm going to get this up and bubbling and give you guys a look at it. And what I did is I set this up, and you're going to see here, it's going to get stirred up here in a few seconds as I try to get the plants out of the way and the shrimp and everything else. And did the initial hookup for it, recorded the video for that. And then I walked away for about an hour, came back, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this here is the exact same airline as the other one. And you can see that this is pumping a lot more water. And that's just because of the design difference. So sorry about the glass here, but I'm going to clean that off for the next shot. So I'm going to hook up the top part. You see it's floating a little bit right now. That's because there's no water in it. Actually, I put a little bit of water in it, but once it starts bubbling, you're going to see it fills up very quickly. And the nice thing about this is all the splashing is happening up in that chamber. Same as for the high humidity planters, does the exact same thing. But you can see in the background there how bulky that is relative to this. So anyway, we're going to test it out. We'll see if it is sufficient, if it has enough of what it needs to have to make it work. So that, unfortunately, will take time. So here you go. This is it running. All the splashing happens there. Just get an overflow, which gives me a nice little bit of turnover on the top of the tank, which is important. And yeah, so we'll see how, like I said, long term how this goes. And then I'm going to give, this is what it looks like now, right away when I set it up. Last shot is just an hour later. And you can see it's already clearing up quite a bit. So anyway, thank you for watching. Leave comments. Let me know what you think about all this. And I'll see you in the next video. And bye for now.